Hello, my name is Jenna Boesiger, and you're watching my Studio Boesiger YouTube art channel. I would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the bell because I'm trying to build this channel and it can be difficult in the beginning to get started, but I believe it's just a matter of experience, and if I keep doing it, I will eventually formulate the best technique and, improve with time. And that's kind of exactly what I did when it comes to developing a technique for oil painting. And that was the goal for, since the beginning of my oil painting career, was to develop my own original technique. And it really is something that you have to develop and search for, and you'll find that you have your own needs, and that will also change your technique. One of the biggest needs that I realized, it took years to realize this, a major thing I need to do when I'm painting is to do it quickly. And that is because, I was trying to sell them on eBay. And so I needed to just develop a really quick technique. And then I already learned when I was embellishing Michael Floors' paintings about the whole technique of applying impasto oil paint straight from the tube and using palette knives to do that. And then Robin, I learned this really interesting struggle with realism and blending and color mixing that I also have taken with me. And that's kind of like how you develop your own original technique. But in the process, you'll try a few different things and you'll, take some from some places and some from others. Here it is in a nutshell. We already did the wash, and you want to make a really thin mixture. You don't want to add any white to it. Usually the wash is going to be a light color because you're going to be painting landscapes and things, that have light come. You want, even a portrait to start with a light background. Not always. There's these rules and, you know them. And then when you break them, it's a choice and you're aware of the consequences, or you're also aware of how to compensate. And so another rule is to, when you do a wash, either do a dark wash or a light wash. And the only reason you would do a dark wash is if you're doing, like, say, night city paintings. And in this case, I already had the wash done. The color matched the painting I was planning on doing, and that is why I chose this color wash. But technically, it's not following a lot of these rules. And I'm currently wishing that it was a lot darker, which is how it should be. So the reason you want to paint on a either a really dark or a really light surface is, especially when you start, the first painting session, a lot of it is about contrast, and underneath that thing that's hard to go back in on and paint, which is the dark undertones. When I've got a really beautiful wash that I just did, I've still got to figure out now how to get back in there and put the darks in there, because you can't ever really achieve that same depth that you can when you start with a dark background, and same with a light background. So that being said, moving along, I did do the wash, and I'm going to show you how I did it in fast motion. I did it like in a day, and I also made a really strong attempt to show myself mixing colors, which is really important to me to be able to also show that. So as far as sound goes, I'm still working on those issues, but I'm going to put it together for this video and just go through it. All right, so I got the wash. And the next thing that I want to do is choose my gradient colors. So 1 is a wash, 2 is a gradient, and then 3 is embellish and drying in between. And looking at the original photograph to see the gradient, I decide on the colors that I'm going to be using. There are overall bits of advice that I can give you that are going to like apply to almost anything you want to do, as far as rules go. And grouping your colors together is something you always want to think of. We're all going to have different struggles too, and grouping your colors together may come natural to some, but for me it's something that I continually need to remind myself to do. I've gotten pretty good at just becoming second nature, but in the beginning, don't pick it all apart. And if you need to just kind of squint your eyes, step back and just kind of see it all in its big shapes, you're just going to want to choose colors that are going to make a nice gradient together. And that's going to mean you don't want to choose a million colors. There's no detail. It's just going to be shapes of color. Backgrounds, okay? And don't worry about any vertical shapes, because those are going to be standing out, and you'll do those last. So don't think about the details, because we can add them in later. Right now, we're making a nice background and trying to just turn everything into a color, which is interesting and fun to do, because colors can be semi-transparent, transparent, translucent. Okay, getting off topic. The colors I chose, titanium white. Okay, now the cad orange, looking back, was not necessary. And I might have even put some yellow out, and that was definitely not necessary. So, that being said, I used cad red deep, magenta, dioxazine purple, and also cerulean blue and ultramarine blue. I also used quite a bit of raw umber. Paint the edges of your painting. And so next time, we're going to have to how are we going to whip this together? You'll be surprised at how much you can sort of draw with your palette knives. And we're just going to attack it on the next episode. And so please stay tuned for that. And if you like this video and want to support artists like me, please do so by subscribing, liking, and hitting the bell. I really do appreciate it. All right, thanks. Bye.